Man with a Movie Camera, Dziga Vertov from 1929. What can you say about this film, right? I mean, this film is, Vertov doesn't even list himself as the director or the filmmaker, but as the author, supervisor, experimenter. When this film came out, it wasn't particularly well received. Clearly, Vertov, would have been inspired like any Russian or Ukrainian would have been from Eisenstein, who'd made Battleship Potemkin 4 years earlier, But famously, Eisenstein, after seeing Man with a Camera, called it pointless camera hooliganism. This is an excerpt from camera operator's diary, an experiment without inner titles and without the help of a story, without the help of a theater. This experimental work aims at creating a truly international language of cinema based on its absolute separation from the language of theater and literature. This is like a declaration of independence, and you see that first shot, it's a double exposure. It's an in-camera optical. They've shot the bottom 2/3 of the frame, with this movie camera, and they've taped it off, and then they've back wound it, and they've redone it with this tiny little figure, this cameraman setting up on its, on standards, another camera. And so from the beginning you're going to see something very different, and it's a process film. So it's a very meta film because it shows you the mechanical workings behind motion pictures using, depictions of other processes like making matchboxes and newspapers and cigarettes, and juxtaposing those with match cuts to workers' hands performing, these contrasting tasks. There are also, what we would commonly refer to today as jump cuts or Dutch angles. He does stop motion animation. There's like, IMO cameras, even though they didn't have an IMO camera, angles like beneath moving trains, and these very, very impressive tracking shots from moving cars, and a host of other, pioneering breakthroughs. It's like this film is like kind of like a Rosetta Stone for cinema, and in many ways is important to understanding the roots of film as Latin is for the written and spoken word. It's so avant-garde, I mean, it's like
Yeah,
I mean, really, as much as some of the execution with the camera is impressive, I mean, equally impressive, if not more impressive, is what Savova does as the editor. I
uh-huh,
mean, those techniques are completely fresh, and I could see those. Just the tempo of the cutting pattern would have been very off-putting and confusing to a
right.
very young, fresh audience that hadn't seen a lot of film. The idea that it was dismissed, at all, and actually kind of was like a very uh, personal crisis for him. This film was rediscovered and later shown at film festivals, but not in the time it was made.